What's going on, folks? Your boy again, Dr. Sean Thomas is building with the Be More Today show. We are back. We are back. We are back in the building. And folks, we are back for another episode, still here in the month of April, continuing to be more in 24. And now we're in season 5 of the show. It's been a great blessing, showcasing so many great people doing great things in our world. Although the news may say certain things, there are people out there still doing great things every single day. And the Be More Today show highlights those people every single week. So thank you for your love and support. The Be More Today show continues to move and grow and inspire others. Now heard in 82 countries. Again, over 58,000 downloads. Thanks to your love and support. This show continues to be one of the best podcasts out there. And if you don't already know, our Steps Fitness Challenge continues. We have a Steps Challenge that's been going on since the beginning of April that continues on. So if you are still out there getting your steps in, keep pushing towards those steps. We're going to be the best version of you. I salute you. And if you want to find out how to get into our next step challenge, BeMoreToday.com has all your information about my book, our step challenges, our workouts, our run clubs, all different things to keep you always on the move. Our quote for today is simple as always by Brene Brown. Owning our story can be hard, but not nearly as difficult as spending our lives running from it. So many of us have things that we can be sharing with others. And I'm saying that because as I'm writing my second book entitled Project More, I'm seeing that I have a story. And every couple of years, my story continues to change. It grows. It has more details to it. There's more body to that bigger picture, more chapters added to it. And everyone has a story, including you. You have a story too. And owning that story of yours, it can be hard, but not nearly as difficult as spending our lives running from it. The challenges you faced. Life is not perfect, but we have so many things that make us stronger. And everyone has a story. I got into physical therapy because I got hurt. And if I had never gotten hurt in high school, tore my meniscus, in college, tore my meniscus, I would have never gone to rehab or gone to PT to see what that is even about. And I would have never maybe even been a PT. I would have never maybe had this podcast or wrote a book or all these different things. So owning that thing, talking about our triumphs and our failures, talking about our struggles and talking about the things that make us stronger as people and using that as fuel to be better, to be more is the charge I have for you today. And my guest on today's show is pretty much the embodiment of that. He's been on the show before. Some may say he's my brother from another mother because we have a lot of similarities when it comes to what we do, how we see life, how we operate, how we function, how we race, how we train, how we run. He's been on the show talking about bow ties in the past, but he's on this platform today talking about a new thing he's been doing. And his name is Coach Keith, or Marquis Ellison, founder of Chainless Fitness. Now, Marquis has something called Crohn's disease, but I'm going to have him talk about in a little bit very, very soon. But he is quoted by saying, I have Crohn's disease. It doesn't have me. It's a model he adapted after being diagnosed with Crohn's disease in 2009. And fitness, nutrition, mindset, and faith has helped him live with and manage Crohn's. And now he gets to help others transform their lives through Chainless Fitness. What he loves the most, he says, about coaching is seeing his clients' transformations and checking back into life. It's more than working out. It takes new habits, commitment, and a lifestyle change for true transformation. And I'm honored to have him on this show today talking about what he loves to do best. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, pets included, please welcome back to Be More Today's show, my boy, my brother from another mother with a Southern twang, Marquis, Coach Keith Ellison. Coach, what is going on?
Oh man, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on, bro? Appreciate you having me on the Be More Today show for a second time, man. And the Southern twang, yeah. I guess that's me, right? I got that Southern drawl, so I hear.
What you mean you hear?
That's
You
what they
know you have
say.
that. You know you have
That's
that
what they
draw.
say. I don't know, man. I don't know. I only hear it, but I am from the South, from Florida. So moving to New York, I mean, it's pretty obvious that I didn't grow up in New York, so I don't have that New York twang or that New York accent, as you would say. But yeah, But nonetheless, man, I'm happy to be here, bro. Appreciate you having me on again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, I'm from New York and I don't have a New York accent myself, so you're good. So it is what it is. We're all here now doing it, so it is what it is. But listen, Coach, you and I have been uh uh crossing paths parallel and perpendicular for a number of years now. We've done Spartan races together, we've done road races together. We've
Yeah,
worked out together. We did some virtual things during the pandemic together online.
yeah,
And last time I had you on the show, you were talking about bow ties and we were talking about fashion, all these different things. And that was years ago on our first season of the Be More Today show. And now 4 years later,
yeah.
you've done a pivot, a major pivot in your life. And I want you to talk to listeners about what Chainless Fitness is, how it started, what inspired the name, and what you're doing now with this new fitness push that you've been on for the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So like you said, when we first had the first show, I was in men's fashion at the time. I had my men's accessories line, Marquis Rashad, making exclusive handmade bow ties, pocket squares, and neckties. However, as we were all rocked by the 2020 pandemic, everything kind of shifted. In terms of menswear, people were dressing more casual, more athleisure, and so bow ties, neckties, that thing just really wasn't a necessity. People was going for a more comfortable apparel. And once everything got shut down, that is when I decided to pivot and really do what I love, and that's fitness, right? So I exercise all the time. That's my lifestyle. And so once COVID happened, I was like, you know what? Now is a great opportunity to pursue your personal training certification and really look into launching your health and wellness platform to be able to inspire and encourage people to control the controllable. And then that's where Chainless Fitness got birthed out of. The change in 2020 that happened, having to close down Marquis Rashad and pivot to something that is more meaningful and that you can impact, lives better. I love what I did with Marquis Rashad, as we contributed a portion of our proceeds to Crohn's and colitis research. But starting Chainless Fitness and working with people on their health journey has been far more rewarding. And that's what caused a shift, to Chainless Fitness. And the name came about because, as you stated earlier in the intro, I have Crohn's disease. And once I had got Crohn's disease, I just accepted it, right? It took the model that I have Crohn's disease, it doesn't have me. Me, and I'm going to control what I can control. And Chainless Fitness is the name of my company. Our motto is breaking through to a better you. And the chainless is we're not chained to our conditions, right? We beat it by how we live and controlling those elements that's within our control. So that's where Chainless Fitness came from. And that's the whole concept, the whole meaning behind what I do, what we stand for. And yeah, so that's what it is.
I love it. I love it. Super inspiring. I remember you uh sharing with me some of the ideas you had for the name, and I remember you showing me some of the logos originally, and I was just happy that you were taking this thing to the next level, and it's grown so much since its inception. Um, Talk to the people
Yeah.
about some of the things that you're offering through Chainless Fitness.
Yeah, so Chainless Fitness, we offer, excuse me, personal training online. So I've had people across the world, also local here in the Riverdale, Bronx area, if you're in the Bronx. So I offer local services and we also do nutrition coaching too. So I'm also a certified nutrition coach. So can help you with the nutritional piece as well, because exercise is one component to it, but nutrition is the key to everything, right? You can exercise as much as you want, but if you're not following up with the proper nutrition, the exercise is in vain because you have to fuel properly, you have to recover properly. And let me tell you, there's a science to it. And when I took that nutrition course and realized the ins and outs into feeling our body properly and, understanding your macronutrients and understanding what your body need individually is a key component. So we offer all of those services.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. And, for those who are looking to either join up with you and link up with you, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, so actually I now have my website, chainlessfitness.com. So you can actually go onto my website, chainlessfitness.com, www. And you can book your discovery call. You can do all of those things right there. And you can even sign up for our newsletter subscription. So I just started a newsletter this week that I just launched called Breaking Through. And every Monday, I'm going to be sending you weekly inspiration, health, and wellness tips to help us on our journey. So you can do that as well on my website. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm very
Oh yeah,
excited about
social
all those
media
things.
too.
Yeah, yeah. What's your social
Yeah,
media
man.
tag?
Yeah, yeah. Social media. You can't forget about that. So you can find me on Instagram at Coach Keys09 and Chainless Fitness on
Awesome.
Instagram.
Awesome. Awesome. So, Coach, I know about Crohn's disease. I've had a number of patients who've had Crohn's disease. Um,
Right,
your 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 slogan, "I have Crohn's disease, but it doesn't have me." You've said that a
right.
number of times. I've seen you say that on social media. I've heard you say it in person. I've heard you say it after some of your workouts. Why is this statement so powerful and important to you?
That's a great question. It's important and powerful to me because by this back, so first affirmations are strong, right? Affirmations hold weight to them. And so when I say I have Crohn's disease, it doesn't have me. It's acknowledging that, yeah, I have this disease. When I say it doesn't have me, it's acknowledging that even though I have it, I'm not going to let it control me. I'm going to continue to live my life and control what I can control. And that's what it means. I have Crohn's disease. Yes, I have it, but it doesn't have me, meaning it's not going to stop me. It may slow me down from time to time, depending on how I feel. If I have a flare up coming up, it may slow me down, but it'll never, ever, ever, ever knock me out. And that's okay. If you have to slow down, that's fine. Slow progress is still progress, right? And that's what the purpose of the whole model is, just really, letting people hone what they have. And one of my other inspirations came from Stuart Scott. He was an ESPN analyst who passed from cancer. And just before he passed, he had won one of the top awards for the ESPYs. And for those you don't know, the ESPYs is like the Grammys for the sports world, right? Stuart Scott had won like one of their humanitarian awards because he was battling cancer and he was going through his chemo and he was going through, all of the treatments. And after he would go through chemo, he would go to his boxing class. Like he was physically active while he was going through that. And in his acceptance speech, he said something that really resonated with me. And I was like, wow, seeing this guy persevere despite having his cancer diagnosis, which eventually took him out, he said, when you die, you do not die to cancer, but you beat it by how you live, while you live, and the manner in which you live. When he said that thing, I was like, you know what? I was like, wow, like that's it. That feeds into my model again. So you can tie that to whatever condition you have. You know, you beat it by how you live, while you live, and the manner in which you live. So that's why I have Crohn's disease. It doesn't have me because I'm going to beat it by how I live, while I live, and the manner in which I live by controlling what I can.
Yeah, that's big time. I remember actually watching um that SB online on Instagram a number of times. It's always moving every time I see him. Again, Stuart South, one of the biggest icons when it comes to
Man,
Sports Center history. So many
Yes.
catchphrases, booyah and whatever else.
Boom. Wow.
Yeah, he was the
Yeah.
man. But I agree with you. Just realizing that these things don't define us. I mean, I tell my patients that all the time. You're not ever defined by a diagnosis, an MRI, an X-ray. We're more than those things. And I gotta be honest with you, Marquise. A number of years ago, we ran a Spartan race together, and I've always liked the competitive style that you and I have when it comes to these things. And there was a race that we were signed up to do, a Spartan race. And I remember you saying that you didn't feel well. And I remember you texting me saying you might not be able to run the race. And I'm not going to lie to you, in my competitiveness, I said to myself, yo, figure it out. Figure it out. Feel better. Get ready to do it.
Right.
And when I remember texting you in the morning and you saying, yeah, I'm not going to do the race because I'm having a flare up,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
immediate response was, wow, I didn't realize how intense Crohn's disease really was, because my
Yeah.
thought was just, well, just get through it. You'll be fine. Because that's
Yeah.
been my mentality for everything. When it comes to sports, when it comes to anything, my mentality is always
Right.
saying, well, just get through this thing, whatever it is, get through it. Mama mentality to the max, to the point
Right.
where it's like,
Right.
oh, if it's even detrimental to you, get that thing done. But seeing you reassess that day and put your priorities in place because you knew how your body was going to respond to that kind of trauma, I
Yeah.
gain a different respect for you, in the sense of that's not something that I'm always privy to do. I'm always like, oh, I'm just going to push myself to the max and I'll figure out what happens in the end. And it's been detrimental to me in some regards, and also, successful in others. But the
Right.
fact that you were able to know exactly what your body needed, what exactly your body was going to go through, and you made the smart decision to make sure that you did what was best with your condition, so you could race another day. I've never told you this, but I just wanted to say that I salute that journey, because so many people want to go out there and do certain things and can't. And when those roadblocks come, they falter, or they say, you know what, I'm not gonna do any of those things. But you took a pivot, you took a setback for one day so you could race a different day. And since
Right.
then, you've done so many marathons, you've been to Miami, you've done NYC, you've done all these different things because you
Yeah.
took care of your
Yeah.
body for that one race. You sacrificed that one thing for the greater good of, like you said, to make sure that this thing does not have you. And I just wanted to just
Man.
salute you on that, because that's something that I've never shared with you, but it's something that, I kind of felt bad for in the back of my mind, because my initial response was stop making excuses. But when in
Yeah.
actuality,
Yeah.
you were making the right decision for what you had to do, because it was bigger than what I was looking at.
Yeah.
And I just
Yeah.
wanted you to just kind of just share what that experience was for you, and how it's been now doing so many other things like marathons and Spartan races since, still battling this thing, but not letting this thing have you.
Oh, man. So, wow. First of all, thanks for sharing that with me, man. No, I didn't know that. But to piggyback to that day, man, that thing rocked me. It was a Spartan, it was a Spartan sprint, I think we're about to do, right?
Mhm.
We had signed up for and paid for it and everything. What happened that led up to that, we were in Greece, and on the way to Greece, I had a flare up on the plane. And this was in 20, this happened in 20, see, our son Isaiah was born in 2018. This was 2017. Um, I had one of the biggest flare-ups that I've had since I was first diagnosed in '09. It was bad. Something I ate on the plane on the way there, okay, triggered this flare-up. We had a 12-hour layover in Athens. We were going to Santorini, Greece. We had a 12-hour layover in Athens. That whole 12 hours, we had planned on going into Athens to tour it, but I couldn't, right? Um, well, to your point, like the mentality that I have is I'm gonna push through, right? I'm gonna push through to the best of my ability. Whether that means I'm walking 2 miles an hour, you know, and taking it really slow at my pace, I'm gonna push through as much as I can. And that's what we were gonna do. So we were gonna still go into the city, but everything wasn't working out, to where we just stayed in the hotel. I mean, at the hotel, but at the airport. But I was in a flare up and it was really bad, Sean. Like for those whole 12 hours, I just laid on the airport bench in fetal position, right? throwing up in the bathroom. Like that's what I did for 12 hours. And my stomach hurt so bad. Like I said, I hadn't felt that kind of pain since I was first diagnosed in '09. And so just within that little bit of time, I lost weight, right? My strength had depleted that quick. And once we got to Santorini, I was still coming out of that flare. Like, I went to go exercise and I could feel my strength was just gone, So I again started to gradually build myself back up. I started to slowly eat again, because that's one of the psychological effects that come with having a Crohn's flare up. Is you're afraid to eat because you don't know if the food that you're about to eat is going to re-trigger that flare up again, even though you know you need to eat. And so the way I combat that is just start having like small portions. I'm talking like a spoon of this, a spoon of that, until I can start to get my appetite back up. And then over time, the portions start to increase.
Mm.
And so that's what I did. And when we came back, I had that Spartan race scheduled. And that's when I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna be able to do this, you know. And that's what triggered that flare up, that setback as to why I couldn't do that race. Even though towards the end of the week I was starting to recover, and starting to slowly build back up, I still wasn't to the point where I can go out here and run miles and jump over obstacles and do rope climbs and all of that kind of stuff. So I had to, scale back and gradually build myself back up. So that's the backstory behind that day. And that's the key component, Sean. Like you said, we had that Mamba mentality, like by all means necessary, we're gonna get through this thing. And what I often tell people, because sometimes I think that people hear me and see me and be like, oh, this man's crazy. He's telling me to work out when I'm hurting and all that kind of stuff. Like, but that's not the thing. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what you're saying. What I'm saying is push past our limits, right? A lot of times the limitations that we have are self-imposed. Okay. And we have to break past those self-imposed limitations. That's the only way that we progress. Now, that might mean you have to scale it back some. If you can only walk half a mile, walk half a mile. If you can only walk a quarter of a mile, walk a quarter of a mile. And I'm talking about while you're in like a flare up. Like while I'm in a flare up, I'm doing low intensity exercises, right? I might go for a walk. I might do a little elliptical. If I'm lifting weights, I'll do lighter weights. I'm not trying to go super heavy because it's all about keeping my body moving and still giving it that stimulus that it needs to thrive, right? Without exerting too much energy, because yes, your body needs to, rebuild itself when you're sick. And so, you don't want to overexert energy that your body is using to, naturally heal itself. So that's why you do light, low impact exercises where you can still get some movement and, build your body. And so that's the approach that I take when I do have a flare up. I'll either work out later in the afternoon and I'll do what I'm telling you. Or if it's really bad, I'll give myself 24 hours. That's my rule for myself. I have a 24-hour rule, 24 hours to be in my feelings, to be in the whoa, why me. But after that 24 hours, Crohn's just have to come with me.
Mm.
And we got to keep moving. You might have a 36-hour window. You might have a 48-hour. You might have a 1 week. Okay. But the point is, once you're in that setback, don't stay there. Don't stay there. And what I believe a lot of people do is, and then I see it all the time too, like having these chronic conditions, this can be a crutch as to why we can't do X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really not. It's just that now you have something to say that this is why I have Crohn's disease, so I can't do this. No, you can do that. You're using that as a crutch.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. And that's why, I just wanted to share that with you because I've now seen you do so many marathons. And I'm always curious with the stress of the marathon, right? The training for the actual race day preparation, the race itself,
Yeah.
that's the endurance athlete mindset is almost counterintuitive to the Crohn's mindset, where you're taxing your body to the point where you're not eating. You're taxing your body to the point of almost exhaustion, for 3-4 hours, 5 hours. And I'm just curious what you've learned from that experience in terms of how your body responds, how you train for it, how someone who may say, "Look, I want to go out there and run these things, but I don't know if I might be able to handle it." But you're saying, "Yeah, it doesn't have me. I've been able to go out there and do 3 marathons." How has your mindset shifted so that you can do these things where your body is so taxed, knowing that the
Right.
smallest thing can almost throw you off?
Right. Great question. So like in terms of the marathon, right, or the endurance component that comes with it and down to the training, you know, like I always say, whether you walk, crawl, or jog, finish the race, finish the race. And being in that environment, that was something that, I've learned. It's like, wait a second, you don't got to run this whole thing. If you have to walk, walk. If you want to run it, go ahead and try to run the whole thing if you can. But if you have to stop and do a walk, walk it out. Jog, walk, like there's no shame in that. And when you're out there and you see people walking and jogging, it's a big community when you're in these endurance events. Like everybody's going to get to the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the beautiful thing. Every step takes you forward, man. Whether
Yeah.
you have to walk, crawl, or jog, baby, you're going to get there. Just keep going. And when those symptoms kick in, like if you have to walk, walk, right? And so what I notice is like when I'm running, right, when I'm doing the races, like I'm going to use the porta potties multiple times, right? And so you're always going to find in my sack my toilet wipes and that kind of stuff because my running gets my peristalsis activated, and that's the muscle action of our GI tract that helps to push food during the digestion process, right? And when you're running and strength training, it's activated even more through physical activity. And so, like, I feel that, like, I have to go to the restroom like multiple times, but I also make sure that I have my gels, the proper replenishments to propel through. And like you said, I've done this multiple times, and I've just realized that for whatever reason, about 16 miles, I'm taxed.
Mm.
Like from that point on, it's a combination of walking and running. That's what I'm saying. Walking and running, walking and running. And while I had these lofty goals of running a sub 4, and I've always come in with these goals, it's like, you know what? You just got to take what you can, man. You know, don't quit. Don't quit, because as a competitor, you get frustrated. You're like, man, like I had this goal set, my training was leading to this goal, and then you get out there and it's just like, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so like I said, it's no time to feel sorry for yourself. You just got to keep going. If you have to walk, walk, man, and finish that race. And so that's what you have to do. Just listen to your body and take the necessary steps that you need to help you accomplish that task,
Yeah.
but don't limit yourself.
Yeah. No, that's big time. It's funny. We get so down on ourselves, myself included, whenever you do something and you had a goal for it and you don't hit that goal, like, oh, we're not getting paid for this thing. Like there are no contracts coming out for this, right? There's no check in the
Right.
mail. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's so
We're
true.
not finishing top three. Everyone's getting a medal. But I do think there
That's
is this
so true.
mentality where it's like you train, train, train. You have all these lofty goals of what you want to do. And when you don't hit that goal, it's failure. But no, you think about it. 1% of the population has done a marathon. 6% of the population actually runs, period. So the fact that you even out there training, the fact that you're even running by itself is success. And
I know,
I
right?
think the mindset you're having is spot on. You're out there, you're doing it. Walk, crawl, run, jog, whatever. Get that thing done. And you've done that, Marquise. You've done that well. with all things considered, and you do it, and you're inspiring others to do that thing, which I think is even more successful, because if they see you with all the things you've had to go through, continue to put your fitness and your health first, that's going to inspire others to go out there and enjoying the walk, join the run, join the crawl. So, I'm curious now, since we have you on the show, a
Sure.
number of people always talk about, what should I be doing? What should I be eating? Everybody always asks, when you see someone who's either in shape or doing things that are good for their health, they always want to know what you're eating, what you're doing. So I would love for you,
Right.
if you don't mind, just to share your top three nutrition trips, three nutrition tips, sorry, that you
Yeah.
can share with the audience about things that you've seen, you've researched, you've seen with your clients, things that
Hmm.
nutritionally we should be doing just to have a lifestyle. What are your three nutrition tips you can share with us right now?
Yeah. So definitely tip number one is definitely to make sure incorporate, you want to say the basics, right? And make sure you're incorporating lean meats, leafy greens, fruits, vegetables, right? As 80% of what you're consuming. Okay. Make sure you have your water, drinking plenty of water. These are the bases of nutrition, right? Now, that's easy, right? Easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many components that goes down into that. And this is where, it really comes down to an individualistic approach because everybody is different. And I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, all throughout the internet, you hear about weight loss, you got to be in a calorie deficit, you know, calories in, calories out, right? This is what you hear, and it's true. That is true. Okay, weight loss, you got to be in a calorie deficit. Weight gain, you want to be in a caloric surplus.
Right.
Okay, but what people don't know is, and this is where it comes to the individualistic. Like, it depends on your activity level. That's what you're fueling for. So, and nobody's talking about that key component that's missing. About, yeah, it's a calorie deficit or it's a caloric surplus, but what is your activity level? If you're a sedentary person, you're not going to be consuming as an active person that's training for, a marathon, or somebody that's actively exercises 6 days a week. Your needs are totally different.
Yeah.
So I can't just say you need to be in a caloric deficit or you need to eat more without understanding what your activity level is.
Yeah.
And so that's a key component uh that a lot of people don't understand or really realize when it comes to the nutrition piece. So yeah, it's easy to say that that's what we're supposed to do. That's just the overall basis, right? Lean meats, greens, fruits, vegetables, drink water. Okay. But how much are you consuming and how much you're going to consume is going to depend on your activity level because the body uses the energy that we consume. And so that they say food is fuel, food really is fuel. And food is fuel just for your body to function naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Take out the physical activity, right? Your body needs to be fueled just to function properly, just for our living. Now, once you add in the physical activity component, this is where it starts to get more complex and individualistic, to each person.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree with you. I think the narrative has always been the same, but yes, talking about what people are actually doing or getting people actually to do, period. I think is also just that thing because everyone, like you said, they're looking for a quick fix. Well, what can I eat? What shouldn't I eat? Tell me what to do. Yeah, do those things and go work out. Get moving, get your body moving out there. And I think, like you said, put those things
Exactly.
together. That's the key. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
right.
Exactly. And I'm gonna say this, guys, for all of us listening out here that's 30 plus years old. If you're not strength training, you are setting yourself up for fractures and hip replacement in your older age. Why? Because after age 30, by age 30, our bone density is at its max. After age 30, you start to lose that bone density. And the way you combat that is by weight bearing exercises, strength training, lifting weights. that helps to combat that natural deterioration that happens with our bones as we age. You combat that with strength training and protein. Strength training and protein. Okay. Protein. Our muscles are combined to protein, right? And that's the building block of muscle. So as you age, you want to consume protein, right? You don't decrease your protein intake. As you age, it's even more important that you consume protein to help with that bone development and help with your muscle growth. So if you aren't strength training, y'all, get on it. You 30 plus. If you want to be self-sustainable in your older age, that's the key. That's the fountain of youth.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I run a Monday, Wednesday class, and literally we strength train twice a week. And they all know exactly what you're talking about because that's why they show up. They show up because they know
Mhm.
that they felt different, and because they are now strength training and on a consistent basis, strength training and feeling better with their bodies, they know that that's going to be their ticket to living longer, to feeling better, to having a more functional lifestyle. So these things aren't just
Yeah.
hearsay. It's real talk. And yes, I completely agree with you. Strength training and the protein, even for me, the protein I've been doing the last couple of years, just increasing my protein intake, especially for all these different races and whatnot. And simply by adding more protein to my diet has made me feel better. It's improved my workouts, it's improved my strength training, it's improved a lot of different things. So I completely
Yeah.
agree with you on those, sir. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Um, and something else I just want to point out here too, as fitness professionals, um, I remember when I went looking for my certification, I came to you. All right. My brother, like I said, Sean is my brother from another mother, man. So many similarities. So I trust this guy. You're a physical therapist, you run the location. So when I came to you about my certification, I was asking, yo, who do I go to? Like, right away, you were like NASM. It's like, okay, boom. You didn't say ACE. You didn't say ISA, none of the other certifications, no shade to them. But NASM is the best out there, you know. And when you said NASM, I was like, all right, let me look into them. And boom. I was like, wow, this is like the gold standard of certifications. And and so that's where it happened. I took your recommendation and became NASM certified personal trainer, and now I'm an NASM certified nutrition coach. And yeah, I just took my hats off to you for that. And I want to encourage you guys to like really vet who you guys are listening to out here. These internet streets are full of gurus, right? In the health and wellness space. Like it's so much information. It's information overload, really, right? Everybody's telling you this and that, but I'm telling y'all, check your sources. Okay, check your sources. Everybody's not certified. Some people just have great eating habits all their life. They just exercise all their life. And so now they feel qualified to give you advice. But there's so much more to that. That's how I thought before I got my certification. There's so much to it that, you got to really make sure you're vetting who you're listening to. Okay. And make sure that they're reputable. All right. And one of the things that I really like to look for too is sources, right? Make sure people could give their sources of where they get information from. Okay. And I'm gonna give you guys a good tip that a lot of nutrition people and people aren't gonna tell you, but PubMed is one of my top resources. PubMed is one of the most respected, evidence-based uh, platforms out there where everything you want to think about has been peer reviewed evidence out there. Okay. NASM, all of the big, companies, organizations, nutritionists, the ones that are truly registered and provide information. This is where we get our sources from. PubMed. Okay. So you can do your own research too. So anything you want to talk, you want to search like For example, how many carbohydrates should I eat for marathon training? Okay. Look it up for PubMed. They've done tons of research, you know, case studies that have been done. So that's just something that, a bit of information that you can look at and get in your evidence-based research.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, I thank you for sharing the concept of people checking their sources. I think a lot of people, especially in today's society, we're so fixated on social media being our news. So that becomes fact. And yeah, there, like you said, a number of people out there who may have great genetics. They may just be doing some great reps while the camera's on, whatever the case may be. But in those situations, it's always good to make sure that you're getting your sources from people who know what they're talking about. And that goes for personal training, that goes for PT as well. There's so many things that are out there that I'm sure you probably see too. You're like, yo, that is not right. They should not be doing that. That is not accurate. But if
I'm telling you, man.
you have no idea,
You
So
don't know.
yeah,
Like, listen, it's so funny out there, man. Especially in my industry, you got personal trainers out here jumping off of tires and dumbbells in their hand. Like, who's doing that stuff? Ain't nobody doing that.
right,
That's not practical,
right,
right? That's not practical. The average person is not out here, jumping off of tires, doing backflips, holding dumbbells, and all this kind of stuff.
right.
Functionality,
Yeah,
right? Your basic movements, squat, push, press, single leg balance work. That's what's going to help you get strong and, sustainable for the long term. That's cool. That's cool to do, but that's not practical.
yeah, yeah. It's a lot of it for Instagram likes. I love seeing the videos of people like bench pressing couches and like like there's so many people just doing just crazy things that are in the gym. And I love the one, there's a one on Instagram where the comedians always they walk into a gym like day one and there's somebody in the gym doing something crazy on that side and this side and that side, and they just walk out. But yeah, I'm not gonna even say here. Because people are just doing
Yeah.
wild things. But I think you're right.
Yeah.
Get back to those basic fundamentals. Those things will never ever go out of style. They're always going to be beneficial
Never.
for you. And they're really, like you said, the building blocks of what fitness is supposed to be. So you're doing great, Coach Keith. I appreciate you. Um, any final fitness tips you want to share with the listeners um, as we talk about being more in 24, or anything you're trying to be more for yourself in 24 when it comes to your fitness goals for this year?
Yeah, man. As we continue to, we're almost halfway through the year now, and I just want to encourage you all, myself included, like whatever goals we set at the beginning of the year, you might not be there yet, but every day we wake up is a new day, to tackle those goals and take that next step forward. And don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and you know press forward, right? As they say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And, you never know. You never know. Um, now I'm talking from a personal experience. I just recently reached out to somebody, a studio, and I have been hesitant to reach out for a while. And, to my surprise, I reached out to the owner, and, they were very receptive. And now that relationship has, you know, got established. Um, Found out, we follow each other. They've been following me for a while, and so when I reached out, they already knew about me and who I was because they've been following my journey, and I told him I was like hesitant, to take that step to reach out. But like I said, you miss 100% of shots you never take. Now we have a relationship, and hopefully, we'll see how things move from there. So I just want to encourage you, man, take that step, and don't be afraid to take that leap. And because you're gonna soar, you'll soar, right? You'll hit some roadblocks, that's for sure, right? That's for sure. um and that's why, where my faith comes in at too. The book tells us that, in this world we will have tribulations, right? We will have trials and tribulations, but be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. that scripture sticks with me because when I encounter roadblocks, it reminds me that as a believer, my life ain't gonna be all rosy and sunshine. You know, I'm gonna have those roadblocks. It tells me to expect those roadblocks, but be of good cheer because I have overcome it. And I always get through those roadblocks, no matter what they are. So I want to encourage you too. You can get through those roadblocks. You can get through those roadblocks. Whatever your condition is, whatever your circumstance is, you have it. It doesn't have you. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. But once you establish that mindset that no matter what comes my way, I'm going to push through, you will succeed. And what success is what you say it is.
That's it. That's it. Coach Keith, we appreciate you so much, man. You made this show one for the books. It's just great having you back on the show now with the new pivot in your life. And
Yeah,
again, where can people
man.
follow you on social media and how can they, again, contact you to either do sessions with you or just to kind of follow your story?
Yeah, again, so IG, Instagram, you can reach me at Coach Keys 09 and Chainless Fitness. Those are my IG platforms. Same thing on Facebook. And you can go to www.chainlessfitness.com. You can see my website. You can see what we do. You can book your discovery call, sign up for our newsletter there that we have, our weekly newsletter coming out. And that's how you can contact me. And I respond to you. And we'll see what can happen.
Awesome. Awesome. Coach Keith, we appreciate you so much. Thank you, sir, for being on the Be More Today show. And I wish you the best with all things, clearly. Great to see you doing great things and hoping to inspire others to be more, especially in this crazy time that we live in these days. So keep shining your light, bro. You're doing great.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
No
Appreciate it.
problem. No problem. And folks, he shared so many nuggets today. That Brene Brown quote is poignant and is the embodiment of what his story is. Owning our story can be hard, but not nearly as difficult as spending our lives running from it. He has run towards that thing. He has run towards that thing in so many ways, continuing to face his fears, face his goals, hit his goals, and to not be baffled or not be thrown off by the challenges that come along the way. But like you said, to run, crawl, jump, whatever it takes to get that thing done for the greater good. And the fearlessness he has uh, with his condition, which is not even really a condition, it's just another roadblock or another challenge in his life, that he is sharing his light with others to go out there and make their lives relevant when it comes to their fitness. It's super inspirational. So check out his platform, check out his website. If you're looking for a trainer in the Riverdale area, he's your guy. And for all those who are looking to contact him, go visit his sites or again contact me at Be More Today, and I can get you in touch with him as well. Folks, continue to be more in 24. We're trying to do things big this year. Like you said, the year is almost over, almost halfway over, but we got a lot more things to do. So stay inspired, keep pushing, and we will see you next week. Continue to be more in 24. Peace.